Turn the volume up, they can hear from hell. Everyone's ready, so let's ring the bell. Ding, 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 let's start the clock. HBW, yeah, we're bumping chops.
Welcome back to HCW's Bumping Chops, where the chops hurt and the words mean nothing. I'm your host, co-owner of Heartland Championship Wrestling, Billy Simmons, and joining me is the co-host of the Chubby Buddies podcast, my friend, Bobby Casey.
Hey everyone, thanks again for joining us for episode 1 of the Bumping Chops podcast. Bumping Chops is proudly presented by the Chubby Buddies studio. Bumping Chops can also be heard on Spotify or anywhere you get your favorite podcast. But to get notified about every video that comes out, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and notify button to be warned about whenever a new episode drops.
Like, subscribe, notify. And to get more exclusive HCW content, access full shows to subscribers on the Patreon for $5. That's HCW Live 23 on Patreon. For all other information regarding HCW, be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at HCW Live 23.
And on this episode, we have a very special guest that I actually get to kind of find out a little bit more about. But we're also going to be headlining what happened at HCW's last show, River City, Wild event. And then we'll also have key takeaways like big matches or anything that might happen after the fact. And maybe you'll be able to give us the rundown of what could happen, of what did happen. And then we'll also give out information about the upcoming show for HCW. And then after the fact, we'll end it all off with a little bumping chops or shooting the shit between the three of us and kind of getting to know perspectives about wrestling as a whole. So I hope everybody's ready.
Man, we picked a great first person to be on this thing with us.
We did.
No, yeah. Why don't you introduce him?
Well, today, I think, honestly, I don't even know how to put, what happened at the show into words, like how it ended. Like it was almost like the biggest cliffhanger of a movie. Almost like, you can't even say it's like a good ending. Like it wasn't a good ending at all. And I'm going to be honest with you.
Well,
so how do you feel about that? Are you okay with that? Does that have like a bad taste in your mouth, other than the person that we have on here?
You know, wrestling in general is crazy at times. What happened at the show blew my mind, and in the fact of, to me, I think the person we got on this podcast with us today should potentially be the new Heartland champion.
Ooh, big words for a big man.
For sure.
But without further ado, he's coming all the way straight out of the crow's nest. Drake Gallows.
What's up, brother?
What's happening, fellas?
I need some claps or something.
You do need some claps. He gets all of them at HCW, so I don't know how much you need here.
Get you a Jim Cornette soundboard with the...
Oh, we got everything. I just got the random... I don't even know what it is. Oh, here we go. Here you go.
There it is.
That's like a crowd of 12.
Hey, it can be 12 or 1,200 as long as they're loud.
Still got over, baby.
Well, Wichita brings a crowd of 12 at Wichita. It makes it sound like probably 800.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Wichita's been really good to us. They've been really good to me personally, too. I actually had my first few matches in my career in Park City, which is just right down the road. That's actually where I met Aaron Helms.
Oh, wow.
And, it's ironic that it's all come to this, and here we are.
Yeah, how's it head, buddy?
Oh, I'm fine, man. This shit happens all the time.
I know, but it got you pretty damn
I know.
good.
I've got a good half-inch hole in my head right now, but put a little super glue in it, and HCW actually has a medic, which is fantastic. I've been around 15 years, almost 16 years. I've never actually had a medic look at me after a show before. Usually they just throw me in the river.
Yeah. So
that was nice.
That's what put some grit on you, is that throwing in the river.
Fuck.
How much Tylenol did you need afterwards?
Man, I don't mess with Tylenol. I'm an ibuprofen guy, and it actually usually does more harm than good.
Yeah, you do go numb on ibuprofen.
So, bro, I think I'm gonna, alleviate some pain and some pressure, and then I just start bleeding.
Yeah.
That's
sending
what
that blood out.
Ibuprofen does. It's a blood thinner.
Yep.
So
You'll
let's
be
talk about that for a second, Drake. Like,
Well, why don't
do
we
you
give
ha-
him a rundown about like kind of what led up to what happened to him?
Okay, I'm
mean,
good with that.
He
You
was
got that.
He
Yeah,
was
all right.
essentially a number one contender at that point. Was he or was
Okay.
he not?
Yeah,
He was a number one
100%, yeah.
contender for HCW's Heartland
Listen, Bobby,
Championship.
I'm always in top contention for
Oh.
any heavyweight championship on any card in any locker room I walk into.
Well, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't speaking at a place there.
Well, you won't ever do it again.
I'm not going to deny that, but this comes from the guy Drake that says he should be called an MC instead of a ring announcer.
Okay, are we going to get into that debate?
I mean,
Because
you're the one that wanted
who
to change.
an MC doesn't run the music; they cue the music.
Oh my goodness!
That's fair.
All I'm saying.
As long as you're not cutting promos in between every single match,
I don't do that. I don't think.
just get the weight
I-
and time right.
I'm going to be honest with you. I almost came this close to like making a joke at Aaron when he took the mic from me. I was
Glad
like,
you
I could have like made listen to the crowd. Like they didn't get happy or nothing, but I didn't do it. I was like, it ain't that time.
All right, well, take us where we need to go there, Bobby.
But essentially, Drake Gallows was the number one contender that night for the HCW Heartland Championship, only to be facing off HCW's hardest hitting heavyweighter, so he claims. And
He does hit hard as fuck.
Yeah,
well,
100%.
hey, I've never been hit by him, so I guess I'm glad I didn't say
I
nothing on
have
that
a
mic.
few times.
But I mean, it didn't end the way anybody in the crowd wanted. I mean, I didn't think the crowd was going to be mad either way, but I think that they were upset with the way that this one ended, just because there was no closure.
Break that down. Like Aaron Helms, he does have a following, and that guy, like Drake said, he's hit hard. I've been hit by him myself, but that match was there, and in my opinion, I think Drake had him. What do you think, buddy? You had him?
I know I had him. The only difference between me and Aaron Helms are he's got a little bit more luck than I do right now. I got a bad case of just shit luck Saturday night. And,
Gotcha.
you know, the fans might think that I'm the best of a bad situation right now, but it's still better than Aaron Helms.
Mm.
So at the beginning of the night, they were probably indecisive about who was going to win that match. They were probably indecisive about who they wanted to win it. But by the end of the night, they were chanting my name. And when they saw that I wasn't going to leave with the title, they were pissed.
I do not disagree.
To be honest, that's my job.
Well, I think it also has something to do with like this match. Somebody left bloodier than in the 3 Stages of Hell match. I mean, you could probably say that.
Yeah, but let's get into why. So
Ray Leon can crack a chair, that's for sure.
do you have any hard feelings towards Ray?
I know the hazards of the sport, and I know that in Ray's mind, he was probably doing the right thing because at this point in time, he thinks he's the hero on the show. The problem is, whether he be the hero or not, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he cost the wrong guy. So whether he was doing the right thing or not, whether he leaves voicemails, sends texts, apologizes left and right, fact of the matter is he stuck his nose in my business. And you can have all the hype, you can have the biggest following in the city. It does not make a damn when you get cracked in the face.
Mm.
And everybody, regardless of their popularity, is entitled to a receipt.
Understood.
Well, before this, did you have any interactions with Ray at all before the match?
I've had one singles match with Ray, and it was one of the most challenging, honest outcomes I've ever had. I mean, the better man won that day. And then there was a triple threat match the year prior that I don't remember much about, which it's ironic because that also had Helms in it.
Mm.
But, you know, I can tell you one thing, history won't repeat itself because the right outcome will take place this time. Drake Gallows will go over.
Mm. Hey, it's big words. You got a lot in front of you.
Man, I'm the longest reigning champion in the history of Kansas.
Yeah.
I am the golden ticket. I am the greatest wrestler to come out of the state of Kansas in the last 25 years. I'm not modest about it. There's going to be new guys coming and going. Drake Gallows isn't going anywhere, and I'm keeping my spot.
I can't argue that
You can't.
for as long as I've known you, you've been at the top of the game. You've been at, like you said, longest reigning Kansas champion.
Billy, go into any locker room you've ever been in charge of or just worked in. Ask everyone who gave you the best match of your career.
Yeah.
They're all going to say the same thing.
Yeah. You're in my top 5. So I don't disagree with you.
It's not even bragging at this point, man.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be that guy. I don't want to act like I'm this smart ass who thinks I'm better than I am. Everybody else tells me how good I am.
Yeah, but
so
you're a smart ass.
There's nothing wrong with that. I don't argue anymore. I tried to be modest. I tried to be humble for a long time. Everybody told me to shut up. So I'm just going to agree with them now.
Good deal.
Well, outside of that, did you guys actually wrestle together in Texas or in Kansas?
I've wrestled Billy in Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas.
Correct.
Oh, wow. So it goes back a while. How long have you guys actually interacted with each other? Obviously well before HCW, but.
So.
Well, you tell him, Billy.
Yeah. So, like Drake said earlier, he's had a lot of interactions with Aaron Helms. So, way back when him and Aaron knew each other, well, once I trained Aaron up and got him to where he needed to be, we started traveling places. And Aaron got me hooked up with Drake, and we went down there. It's the same night I met Sam Stackhouse for his
bachelor party.
For his bachelor party.
That's a big man too.
Man, he's fantastic, dude. We went down, wrestled for Drake that day, did the bachelor party afterwards, and haven't separated since.
No.
Well, given that, go ahead.
Me into a lot of locker rooms, and he's gotten me a lot of opportunities just because we were good people to each other. We took care of each other. He helped get some of my guys into the Kansas scene. I helped get a lot of his guys into the Oklahoma scene.
Correct.
We just saw a good dude from across the locker room. We had mutual agreement on the way, business should be handled, and we just kind of clicked, and we've been buddies ever since.
For sure.
Well, given your guys' friendship and long, wrestling careers, what do you see coming out of this after this match happened? With him as the owner of HCW, what do you look forward to in the future between you and Helms or you and Ray? What is, I guess, your goal of that?
Well, man, my job is to tell the right story. And ironically, prior to Saturday, other than an opportunity, I had no stake in this story. I had no reason to be in it. And now I have more than one. Aaron cost me a victory 2 months ago. Ray has cost me a victory now. And he spilled half a gallon of my blood all over Wichita. So at this point, it's kind of ironic. I have a bigger beef with Ray than I do with Aaron. But at the end of the day, Aaron's got what I want. And I think I'm just going to keep pushing until I get it. And it doesn't matter if it's Ray Leon or anybody else that gets in my way. I will get through them. I will get my hand raised. I will be at the top of the mountain where I belong. Drake goes over.
Any words to add to what his goals are versus, I guess, essentially his goals are going to be outweighed by that of either who has the belt is what I get.
You figure his goals aren't going to just be handed to him. He's got to go through Aaron. I have given Ray Leon a title match with Aaron this coming show in July.
Oh.
So maybe he
and
has
I'm going
to
to keep
go
a
through
really close
Ray.
eye on that one.
Which, I think I might just have you stay home that show.
I don't think I'm going to do that.
Do they still give out fines for the WWE getting chair shots or not?
I don't know. here lately.
There is no amount of money that would make me feel better about Ray Leon cracking me in the head with a chair.
Of course, just find him.
No.
So if I find him, then Drake beats him up anyways. So now
You're
he
gonna
gets
put that
double
money in my
issues.
pocket?
Well, in this industry, like a fine could be like, I mean, you handed them out like candy last week. I mean, can we get personal there?
Yeah, sure.
You know what? Hey, before you go there, I don't want you to find Ray. I don't want anybody to find Ray. I want him to learn that there are consequences for his actions.
I guess
And
that's
it has nothing to do with money.
I guess that's a punishment well served after the fact.
I mean, I hope Ray listens to the podcast.
He will. He's not stupid. I'm sure his ears are burning right now.
It sounds like they might be. I don't know if I'd want to have a pissed off Drake Gallows coming after me.
I don't even know you that well, and I wouldn't want you coming after me. I'm just saying. I mean,
Bobby, just type
outside of what I know, huh? What's that?
Type my name in any show in Kansas. Any of the guys in our locker room now that can tell you when I'm in a bad mood, I am not the one to fuck with.
It's all bad.
I have cleared out locker rooms after shows.
I believe it. I mean, luckily I haven't came across that, so I think I've gotten my lucks on the right side of things.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're in the danger zone.
Yeah.
Especially when you have a microphone in your hand, it's a bigger fine if you break one of those than it is if you want to hurt your opponent.
That's fact. Pissed me off way more.
Well, outside of your match, like, what did you? I mean, from my point, like, I thought this was actually one of Wichita's best shows because of all the surprises that actually took place. Like, whether they were big or little.
Surprises, dude. Our company has phenomenal talent on it, and you had a lot of guys show up at the last minute and step up.
Yeah,
you had a lot of shows that weren't promoted that went out there and tore the house down. There's half a dozen guys in that roster that I still haven't locked up with that I look forward to. I mean, I've had 6-7 years with Billy, and I've shared that locker room with guys for the same amount of time. We've never touched.
Yep.
And it's exciting to know that in the future I might get those matches because there's a lot of really talented guys that can push me to make me work a little harder, run a little faster, and give it a little more effort than I normally would because I have to keep up. I know I'm not the old guy in the locker room anymore, but I'm not the young one anymore either.
No.
It's weird being 25 and being the old guy. Now I'm 31. I'm kind of in the middle because there's some guys who've come in that are older and better than me. There's some younger guys who've come in who have a lot to learn, but they're capable of shit that I would never even try. And, styles make matches. So,
well, to highlight on that, I think that's why it was one of Wichita's best shows is because I saw the changes. I mean, we had to talk right before kind of like what was going on. So, I mean, yeah, I think that's also why, because people are able to flip like that at these shows. And I'll be honest with you, I've only been to outside of Billy's organization and then one time in Texas that I've seen him wrestle or even take part in something like this. I've only seen a small show in Kansas once over at Memorial Hall. This was a long time ago, and like you couldn't like the amount of work that goes into an HCW show. You could tell why I never hear from you. Like
how long ago was that?
Oh, this was probably I would say 97. It was like an independent show.
Probably Bad Boys.
Like BBOW.
Yeah, more than likely.
Is that Dan?
Yeah, Dan Adams.
It was all
more than likely that was who it was.
Oh man, I wish I could remember.
Scotty Too Hottie was in this show. Like he set himself on fire.
It definitely had to be Dan's show.
That's insane. Why?
That's crazy.
Right, and like that.
I'm good on fire.
But even with that name, like
I don't want to do fire anymore.
Exactly, and like with that name, like that name brings it brings people. It really does. And you don't even have anybody like that on your roster, and it's still bringing the crowd that it's bringing. So like that to me, that's why I say like this is one of Wichita's best shows.
But that's what prizes me. I book people, I train people. I have friends like Drake who trains people, so I've always got eyes. He also runs UWO down in Oklahoma, so anytime I want to go down and watch a show, I can go there. Fountain City guys run shows, I go up there. I got so much access around me to talent and people that trust me that are like, hey, go work for this guy.
That's what I say. Like when you have trust and you have good, I'll say good promoters that don't try to fuck each other all the time, you can really develop good relationships and meet good talent, and you can share talent, and there's no animosity or hurt feelings or chaotic like differences in storyline or gimmick. Oklahoma has a really bad problem and has for 20 years with like baby faces 30 miles down the road their heels. 30 miles isn't a lot. At your shows in Wichita, there's half a dozen fans who come to your show from Oklahoma City.
Right.
They also, those same people, they'll travel all the way to like South Texas, and it's just because they know people they like are on the card and they're willing to travel to watch them.
Yeah.
So like when you do that, you have loyal fans that will follow the product, and that's how you get a lot of, you know, good press and you make more money.
For sure.
Well, before we actually get into more talks about what happened at River City, like I kind of want to give you this, I guess, the reins right now, just to kind of promote like what's coming up for you, maybe a match or a show that you have, or maybe even your school. I know that you do have a school, but I don't know anything about it, so I didn't know if you want to take this time to kind of highlight that.
Oh, I'd love to. Right now, we're only doing classes 1 day a week because I've learned the hard way. If you run classes like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, noon on Sunday, you might get 3 people to show up each day. If you herd, you know, like everybody together and tell them, hey, you're coming Thursday or you're going to miss out. And if you don't, you know, you're in trouble. You better show up and you better do your job. And if you don't, you're just wasting your money.
Can't get better if you're not in the ring.
Yeah, if you don't. Yeah. Might get a cameo here.
Uh-oh.
Hello?
Are you ready to go in the car?
We're going to go somewhere later.
But I want to go to Grandma's and get one of Peter's cars.
I will get you one, okay?
Can I come with you?
Yeah. Go get your mama real quick.
But
Go.
did you hear that, Boo?
I did. Go.
It was Mommy.
They're shooting fireworks.
Oh, awesome. So cute.
And
I think it's good
Locked
that you
door
didn't
means
put her on
nothing.
camera because the voice kind of paid everything for like what was happening. You could hear it in her voice. I'm going to be nice.
It's great.
can I have some candy, please? I'll get you in a minute, buddy.
Fantastic.
Anyway, DG Dojo is every Thursday from 6 to 9, but I usually arrive around 4 o'clock, and we're usually in there till 10:30 at night. And I'll be in the ring for most of it. And so I'm getting like up to 4 hours of ring time a week in between events. And I'm getting one-on-one time with every student I have, and I have about 16.
Nice.
So we have a very big school right now. And when we can't make it happen on Thursdays, I have a few students that are coming from like Dallas, Texas. Like they're bypassing Metroplex to come to me.
Nice.
Just because we have some loyalty.
Right.
And we'll do like Saturdays at noon, and we'll work out till 4 o'clock. And so that'll give me some more time before an event, and then I'll haul ass to the show, wrestle, go home, do my thing, go back to work on Monday.
Goodness.
Yeah, no, it's very, very busy.
Yeah.
Where does somebody
We're actually-
contact you for that? Like, is it through your Facebook?
Oh man,
or?
we're on Facebook primarily. I have every single social media that you can get, but Facebook is the best one. And we also have the UWO Facebook account, it's Unified Wrestling Oklahoma. We do everything through Patreon. So like, I'm not taking cash. I'm not going to write receipts. You're going to get online. You're going to use a credit card. You're going to do it the way you would with any other gym membership. And your bill comes out on the 1st. So if they don't show up, it's their money. I always tell the students too, I'm like, if you don't come, I'm not going to get mad. I'm just going to give more time to someone else. So
Thanks.
it's on them. And ironically, I mean, they come. They want to be a part of it. They also know that right now we're doing a thing called DG Dojo Live once a week. So once they're match ready, they're filming promos and matches every single week, and we're uploading them to YouTube so that they can be critiqued. They can be, I mean, it's the same word, but they can be criticized. And if what they do sucks, they don't get a second take.
Nice.
You go out there and you learn how to work on the fly. I give them a time limit. I give them a finish, and I send them to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Go play, dude.
This is going to make the episode right now. Like I think this is what's going to get all the likes and everything.
Yeah, 100%.
But no, did you have any
a
shows coming up?
Dad, man.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, so we take off July. We always take off July. Oklahoma has a renewal for the Oklahoma State Athletic Commission. Every wrestler, every referee, every manager, they all have to get a license. Typically what happens if you run a July show is half the guys who agreed to work it don't have their shit in time. So I just choose not to deal with it. So it gives me an extra month to prepare for the following show, which is in August. It's August 10th in Midwest City at the American Legion, which will probably be our last show at the American Legion because our show is growing and we're not able to do Legions or VFWs much longer.
Nice.
Even if the crowd size doesn't grow, the show itself is outgrowing those small rooms. So production-wise, stage-wise, work rate-wise, smaller venues entail a smaller ring. I absolutely love my 14-foot ring, but it's not a show ring, and I don't want to use it on shows anymore because it does make the product seem smaller. So I've got this 18-footer on the other trailer, and I've got like very nice ring skirts and pads, and everything looks highbrow. So
Nice.
we're going to be going to bigger venues.
Okay.
I'm going to be leaving the bars and working my way into the gymnasiums and the football fields and the prisons. We did a show at the
That was really cool.
Lexington prison was one of the greatest things I've ever done. 500 very rowdy, very just entertainment starved people. And like these dudes are all there on life sentences. Every single one of them. We were told that up front. They're like, these guys are never going to leave this place. And they haven't had any type of entertainment since like 89. So we were the first outsiders to ever come in and bring them anything that wasn't like Native American powwow or Bible related.
That's awesome.
Like they'll have Christian musicians come in and do a really like optimistic and upbeat Christian rock show.
Right.
That ain't for everybody.
Right.
So the guy who's like the daytime warden there saw a show we did in the same town at a winery, thought it was awesome, called us immediately and was like, would you be willing to do a show for inmates? And I was like, in a heartbeat.
That's fantastic.
See, that's a little bit different, a warden coming to you than somebody trying to bring something in. But it's awesome.
This guy, the biggest wrestling fan I've ever met. Like, he came in, because we did the event on his day off. He showed up in civilian clothing. He had a Ric Flair t-shirt on.
Nice.
He saw one of our championship belts in my truck, opened the truck door, like while we were setting the ring up, put it over his shoulder, just started walking around with it. It was awesome.
That's fantastic.
Wardens get to do whatever they want anyway.
Dude, he could have made me stay. So
You don't hear that. But no, outside of that, like, are your shows like focused around family friendly? Is that why he kind of came to you, or is it like bloody?
We don't do what I consider family friendly. We do, like, I have a saying. I say it to every locker room before every show. Read the room. Where are we? If we're in a bar, you can do pretty much whatever you want. If you're in a Baptist church gymnasium, that's not the case. But like we did a show at prison. I cut a promo beforehand, and I was the baby face, and I was like, "Okay, raise your hand. Who's innocent?" And I got a crack out of everybody. You know, like I was out there just doing slapstick, to try to get a laugh and let these guys know that this isn't gonna be like a kid show. We're gonna give you a little something. And like, I pinned my opponent with it was a victory roll, but I teabagged him. And like, I held on to the 3 count after it was over and rubbed my dick on his face.
That
huge pop.
I'm sure.
Huge pop.
Sure.
Like I'm listening to this kind of going like, what would because I run the recreation department at Kansas prison, and like
just a sea of laughing pumpkins is what I saw.
That would be fun. Goodness.
It was amazing.
Heck yeah. Good job.
Plus, like the kid I wrestled, I only got to work with him for 5 or 6 minutes because, like, after the first bump, he said he threw his back out.
Oh no!
And I was like, "There's 500 people here, dude. You're gonna have to finish." So there was no getting out of that one.
It's all right. I was wrestling Drake one time, and he popped his knee out of place, and
that's gross.
The referee just goes, "Hey, give Drake a second." What?
No, I used to have a really bad problem with that. I had a torn ACL that I never did anything but rehab on.
Bring that a little bit closer.
And
there you go.
Yeah, it would just pop out. So I would have to take my right foot and shove my ankle forward and pop it back in.
Bro.
It would happen every week.
That's some Lethal Weapon stuff, like with your shoulder.
It's gross. It's very gross.
Yeah.
No. Oof. It is what it is. No, I'm really healthy now. What's funny though is I take these I take joint medication now because my body is the same as a senior citizen. It's called OsteoBiflex.
Is that working?
Billy, you should get some.
Is it working decently?
It's phenomenal. I feel great. Bro, I take a multivitamin and I take OsteoBiflex, and I don't have any joint pain. It's like I had
Did you get
tremendous carpal tunnel and arthritis and all this other wild shit. My fingers, my elbows, my knees, nothing hurts anymore.
Ew, where'd you get it?
Walmart. It's over the counter. Yeah.
Send me the name and stuff if you would.
Dude, I'll send you a picture of the bottle.
Heck
it's
yeah.
dope.
Yeah, I'll have to do some of that. That's gonna help some of my joints. Whoa.
Dude, it's like Ben Gay in a pill.
Yeah, I get shots every 3 months in my knees now.
Yeah, I'm not there yet, but once I get some better insurance, that'll be the next thing.
My knees lock up, and then when it's raining, I know when it's raining. That's the bad thing.
Yeah, man.
And I've never done anything that you guys do.
Well, that's the thing. I'm 31, but I've been a pro wrestler for 16 years. So, like, everything hurts. Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I feel like the old guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I can imagine. Mine was just all from high school football. That's all it was. Like, my hands are killing me. My back. I mean,
somebody said that, you're basically in a car wreck every night.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't just wrestling. I was getting hit by cars for a while, too.
And jumping off ladders multiple times.
Yeah,
multiple tables, multiple.
Yeah. I was working down in Lawton for 2 years, and I think I ended up having 115 or 125 matches for the promotion because we'd wrestle every Saturday. It was weekly. And the last 6 months I was there, every single show I went through a table.
Good Lord.
It was ladder matches,
good Lord,
hardcore matches, thumbtack matches. And I was asking to be written off the show. And the promoter was upset. He said, "There's no way we can write you off. There's nothing that can take you out. You've been through everything." And I said, "Hit me with a fucking car." And he hit me with a car.
So he hit you with a car? Good Lord.
No, we did it in 2 takes.
Oh,
the first one wasn't good enough. And that was my fault. I didn't like it.
Oh, gotcha.
Because I watched the footage and I just didn't bump well. So I asked them to do it again.
Gotcha.
And
second one was better.
I got hit by a 35-mile-an-hour Lincoln.
That's crazy. Would you do that spot again, or your superplex from the top of that ladder that you did?
I know which one you're talking about. I think the car hurt worse.
Yeah.
But I think that the ladder spot had more like lingering damage. Like it hurt me and the other guy.
Right.
So if I could take that one back, I probably would. And the
Gotcha.
only reason we did that one was because we had an 8-foot ladder. We were going to do the spot on the 8-foot ladder, and the opening match decided they were going to use it and break it.
Oh, man.
So the only thing we had left was a 12-footer. So we went 4 feet higher, and there were no mats on the floor, and they didn't gimmick the tables. So it was like hitting concrete and then hitting concrete.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
And that is why I don't do that.
Man, I think I was 25 or 26 when I did that one. And then the car, I was 20.
Yeah.
So, like, I was a young man that could do that. Now I make sure that when I do shit like that, it's sporadic and it matters.
Definitely understandable.
Like what we did last week, like, there has to be a point. There has to be a purpose. Right. And these long-term stories that I want to tell.
It's the best. It's the best. I think it's the best way wrestling shows are run. If you tell stories, crowd gets behind it more. They're more invested. It's not just, I'll show up. Who's working today? Well,
the one thing that professional wrestling promoters don't think about, but the fans do, is why. Hey, we're going to do this. Ask a fan, what'd you think of that? Why'd he do that? Well, that's the question we have to answer.
Right.
And when it comes to really good stories and long-term stories, that's the way I look at it. I like to ask myself, why? What's the point? Where's this going? What's the payoff?
Right.
When a promoter puts me over, usually the first question I ask is, who's next?
Yep.
When we getting there? How we getting there? And yeah, I want to set a tag team titles on Sunday. The next day, I asked the promoter. Yeah, the next day, I asked the promoter what we were doing, and he said, "I don't even know when our next show is." So, okay.
Fun.
Well, hey, before I get too far down, are you able to stay with us the whole time, or do you have other promises that you have to keep? Okay. Well, I just want to make sure before I get too deep into it, because I was going to ask you at least one good question that I think that would be good for the both of you guys to kind of counter.
Oh, yeah.
We got time. But I guess at this time, let's kind of break down some of the matches that went on. I mean, we had, was it 2 title matches or 1? And one was for the, it was 2 title matches. Yep. And then one was for the number 1 contender for the tag team.
Correct.
So, like I said earlier, like, even with the amount of changes that took place, with the amount of, like, stuff that happened, like the craziness that took place during some of the, like, specifically one of those matches, and then even afterwards in the back, which was bizarre to me, it blew my mind. But, like, what was it about, like, was there any matches that stood out to you, like, whether it be somebody that, like, did something or, like, worked a crowd better than somebody else? Was there a match like that to you in this show? Either one of you, actually.
I will say this. If you go ahead, Billy.
Go ahead. I want to hear your opinion.
Okay, well, Ray's on fire.
Yeah.
He gets the best reactions, and it's because he does the most crowd work. He will make an effort to look in the eyes of every fan throughout his matches, and he does a wonderful job. And he could be working a nobody in Wichita, and he still gets fantastic reactions, and they pop for everything.
Right.
That's awesome. And regardless of the circumstances, that's the guy I want to be in the ring with. I want the guy who gets the noise.
Right.
So the new quote is bumping chops, where receipts will be talked about giving, and then we'll also give you props.
We'll also give you props. There you go. So, I was really, I brought Camaro Jackson in. I'd seen him work one other time.
Greatest name.
And him and one of my kids, Hector De Oro, had a really solid, like, told a great story. In my opinion, it was a very, very good match. So I really liked that one. The tag match, like you said, it was good. I told them goofballs if they used bananas in my ring again, I was kicking them out.
I'm not good with bananas.
Bro, I was so mad about them stupid bananas.
I have a fruit allergy, Billy. I will die.
So does Brent.
Yeah.
And he was the ref, wasn't
he? Yeah, not during the one they did, but
man,
Billy, I tried to cut a promo on a dude. 5 years ago, and we used a prop watermelon so that I could smack the watermelon and like have guts flying all over the place.
Right.
I took a big bite of that watermelon. Within 30 seconds, my voice was gone.
Oh my.
I didn't know I had a fruit allergy.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I almost went to the hospital. I had to get EpiPen.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Crazy. I think so
Yeah, you bring a fruit tray, I'm not touching it.
So Drake's out on fruit. I know how to beat.
He's the guy painting the fruit pictures. He's the one that's just staying there.
Now he might have an allergic
100%.
reaction to that.
Yeah, there's one thing that can kill me. It's
fucking fruit. So back to the rest of the card. I was really surprised by Stormy's actions again. Hence why I suspended all 4 of them for July, because Cameron and Calvin were not innocent in the situation, but the actions of Stormy and Logan were kind of heinous, so they can all sit home.
Billy, you're not in the locker room. These chicks are crazy.
I am not in the locker room, but that's why I have you. Aren't you supposed to control stuff back there?
I do what I can. I've man, like they're screaming and like every emotion you can have, they go through it before the show starts.
Well, I thought they loved each other, and the way they act, they hate each other. So
It's pro wrestling, man.
I guess.
Do you think anything has to do with like who carried the ring out for Chance's proposal?
Why would?
No, I didn't know if Stormy was mad about that or not. I couldn't. I mean,
I don't know about all that.
She wasn't there.
Yeah, she wasn't there.
Then you wait.
That's on her.
Then you wait. That's Stormy's mindset. You wait.
Nah.
Oh my.
Nah, I don't think so.
KMC.
I think the world doesn't revolve around Stormy Renee.
That's true.
I didn't say it did.
Well, don't tell her that.
Oh, trust me. I mean, I thought I messed up a while ago, like when Chubby Buddies
when
first
you
got when I called her Stormy Daniels.
Did you hear him say that? Oh yeah.
No, I did not hear that
it
part.
was hilarious.
Okay, I didn't say it at a show. I said it like while we were actually promoting HCW's first show at Leavenworth.
Yeah.
So and we were talking about what's going on, and I was nonchalantly naming matches and stuff like that, and I just nonchalant said, Stormy Daniels is going to be doing that, and his little brother was like, no, I don't think you got that name right.
Hilarious.
That's just how you found out she was a Democrat. It's all good.
Whoa.
Other than that, like I think for like most of the whole show for River City, top to bottom was pretty solid.
VIP also.
VIP wasn't bad. Little Simon Ballas song, I don't know. He's kind of creepy, and he finally got his first win,
and he stepped up too.
And then he got his head kicked off.
Yeah.
That head and his head.
Just it happens. But for the most part, man, like fantastic show. If y'all want to catch it, go check it out on Patreon. 3 months, it'll be out on YouTube, but come check it out.
No, that Ballasong kid, he's been everywhere too. Everywhere I've worked in Kansas, he's always there. That dude's always put in the time. At least I don't know how many opportunities he's gotten, but he's always available. He's made an effort.
He works hard. Like he's one of those guys. He's small.
That's not a compliment.
He's a smaller guy, so he puts in a ton of extra effort to get the booking opportunities that he's able to get.
Yeah, he needs a big guy who can be his base, so
100%
he can show
agree.
what he's capable of.
Like in his VIP match, that dude was significant. Or no, who was it that he went toe to toe? Was it Cottonwood? Bigfoot Cottonwood?
Yeah,
that was during the show.
That
didn't last long.
Yeah,
it was quick. That's where he got kicked in the face.
What was that cat from Colorado that I wrestled like 3 months ago in the big green singlet?
Zamora. I forget his full name, but yeah, he usually
Zamore. Is it Zamore?
Something like that. He rides with the marionette chick.
So he reminds me of a less difficult to move around like Nitronus Iteo. I think him and a Balisong would be a fun match. Like something where you've got your big guy, you've got your little guy. He's not necessarily a flyer, but the big man could get him up in the air, and you could probably make some magic happen.
Nice. I don't hate that idea.
Dude,
either.
my favorite match is I'm 255 pounds. Give me a 130-pound man or a 330-pound man, and I can figure it out, you know. And I think they could too.
That's why
But I think that works with everybody.
That's why he likes working me and Sam.
I love it. I love it. Because here's the thing. Once or twice a year, I get to be the little guy.
Yeah.
I don't ever get to be the little guy. I can do a standing head scissors, Billy.
Mm-hmm.
It's the problem is the guy that I got a head scissor. If you're bigger, I won't die.
That's facts. Very much facts.
Yeah. You know, everybody's like, Hurricane Runners are cool. And I'm like, head scissors are cooler.
So what do you think, Bobby? You want to get into the next show before we...
Yeah, like, did you have anything that might spill over to this next show other than,
well, there's...
you named Ray Leone as a contender versus...
So Ray Leone will go into fighting Aaron Helms for the HCW title. We have Heidi Howitzer will return with the Sunflower Championship, and she will fight Noelle Summit.
That'd be a good one.
With a special guest referee of Mindy Grace.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
We also
you might
have...
give her a briefing on that one.
Yeah.
Refereeing is hard.
And, I wish more people understood that. I wish more people understood that a referee can make or break shows.
Well, you know, I reffed one match a year ago. It was the hardest thing I'd done in the first 15 years of my life. And I've got guys that are doing the Ironman on cards. I'm like, you work twice as hard as I do, and you do it 7 times in a row.
Whew.
That's nuts.
Craziness. Yeah. There's a...
Good luck to all 3 of them.
For sure.
That'll be exciting, though.
It will be exciting. So, Kane Carter, Dutch, I'm giving them a rematch. As everyone heard... at the show, we all seen how the Empire played their little dirty tricks. So I have given Camaro Jackson his rematch with Hector de Oro.
Like when I hear the name Camaro Jackson, like I picture him. Like he is just built like a. It's like he's not
when I
tall.
walked into the locker room, I went and found him. And I let him know that he had the coolest name I'd ever heard in my life.
Yeah. Bro, it's
I
so
said, are
good.
you Camaro? He said, yeah. I said, you have the coolest name ever. You know, no one will ever beat it.
I wish I was able to introduce him because we had a pretty good thing going. And I was like, oh man, stole it.
No, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
He has a career for sure just off his name.
And he got a good pop
talented,
for being
man.
he was one of the guys who made their debut in Wichita, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he's worked for a while. So he's up from the Missouri, St. Louis area. So he's doing a lot of stuff up there, I believe, for MLW and stuff when they
Yeah,
were
you said
doing
you saw him at Fountain City?
yeah, so where I met him was Fountain City Pro, and just his charisma, his athletic ability, his first thing he did was come over and shake everybody's hands, which, you know, I like all that. And so he stuck out to me, and I said, hey man, I got this show. If you want to come down, he was all about it. So, and he had a blast also. He loved our locker room. He had a fun time, and he's excited to be back.
He was fun to watch too. I mean, whether or not he didn't win, but he was really cool to watch.
Man, it's very rare that you debut and win.
Yeah.
It's hard. You know, you walk into a new locker room, you're not familiar with anybody. I mean, you're not familiar with the ring. You're not familiar with the crowd. And
that's Empire, no Empire.
Man, it fly all the way to Florida or go to Hawaii or do a show in Washington State, and it's like the Twilight Zone. You don't know what you're walking into until your music hits, and then when it happens, it's like, well, this could go really well or this could go really bad.
Yeah. You ever change the match on the fly?
All the time.
So I had to change a match. I believe I was working in North Carolina, and I was supposed to be the babyface.
Oh.
And when we come out, of course, I'm the big scary gimmick, and they cheered the crap out of the other kid, and he was a small kid versus a big monster. So middle of the match, I lock up with the kid, and I just tell him, "Switching this up, kid. Listen and follow."
Well, at least yours was consensual. I went all the way to Schleswig, Iowa, which was about 12 and a half hours. And I got in the ring with this guy who was, he said he was like a 25-year veteran, and this would be his last night under that particular persona.
Okay.
He wanted to go all out, and then he was going to try something new the following month in a new town. And I was like, fabulous. Tell me what you want to do. First thing he suggested was lock up, drop down tackle, right? Well, he shoves me off. I've got the momentum, and we double tackle, and he doesn't bump. And he gets hot. And I was like, no, you bump. And he bumped. Yeah.
Just right there?
So, just right there. I said, no, you bump. And he bumped. It's like he heard me call it. It's like he forgot or something. I don't know. Well, anyway, he bumps, he powders. And it was about 5 minutes before he got back in the ring. And it was pretty dramatic because the referee was shooting on me. He wouldn't let me go get him. Yeah, it was supposed to be like this hot opener for Brian Blade. And it was like just a shit show of a match. And I felt so bad because I drove nearly 12 hours to be there, and it was one of the worst matches I had at the time. I was pretty upset about it.
I bet. I'd have been hot.
That was the first time that I had to lead someone who I didn't know, but I was under the impression knew what he was doing. And it was very, very bad.
To understand.
But once I got my hands on him, though, I got under control.
Good.
And
that doesn't surprise me at all.
Man, I didn't have a choice.
It still doesn't surprise me.
If I didn't take over, I was going to get buried. So I had to just shine myself up, and then it was like a quick one, and he got the win, and everything we discussed didn't happen. It was not good.
Goodness gracious.
Well, now I guess we can kind of tell everybody like the day of the show. It's July 20th at the Osage Rec Center. What's the name of it? I mean, for those that can't, that are listening,
if you can't see it or
if you're listening,
it is Justice for All. So we, our friends at the I-70 Hot Tag are running pretty close to the same name. Theirs is And Justice for All. We had this going, and I didn't want to back out of the name. I liked the name, so we just kept with it. I messaged them and said, "Hey, buddy, we're running kind of the same name," and no one gave a damn. So it looks good, and it's got that, champion that beat you last show.
Let's say, did you guys leave milk and cookies out for Helms this weekend?
Of course, it was 4th of July.
Yeah.
Well, that show is also, like I said before, it's July 20th. Doors open at 5.
Yep.
You can get your tickets online through the HCW Facebook page when they post that link.
Correct.
Anywhere else they can get them?
Any of your wrestlers, if you're friends with them, they get a percentage of live ticket sales they sell. So if you want to buy from the wrestlers, get with them. It helps them out and it helps the company out. So
that's the way. If you want to sell a few more VIPs, you could always put Drake Gallows in there.
Do you know who I have in that VIP? I have our VIP match is Remington Roar versus Chris Vale.
Wow.
Oh, that's a banger.
Is our VIP match.
Yeah.
That will be a banger.
Somebody's listening.
Yeah.
No, I said you.
That's
and I'm just spitballing. I think that I have a okay to do that. I mean, you said that the hardest job for you is reffing. I mean, what about a guest ref?
For what?
I'd have to go buy a
There's already a guest ref. Why would I do 2 of them?
Why wouldn't you? I mean, it's
straight
Gallows.
Stage anybody.
Listen, I don't know if he got hit with the chair by someone that would be in that match. Why would I put No, I can't do that.
It'd be a real shame if something happened.
I can't
to
do
your main
that.
event ref.
I can't do that.
Okay, well, I mean, like I
Oh,
said, I was just
no,
spitballing.
Drake,
What if that? What
listen,
if that
I don't.
happened? Billy,
I
what would you
suspend
do?
people, Drake.
What would you do if you didn't have a referee for your main event?
I suspend people.
No, man. What would you do if you just
Bad.
didn't have a ref? Somebody's got to fill those shoes.
I just didn't want to give you
You're
a job
putting-
you didn't want. I mean, he said it
you're-
was too hard, so I didn't think he was going to
putting
take the bait.
ideals into
You
his
know what,
head.
Billy?
I mean, I think that's why I'm here. I want to give people ideas. I mean, I'm a
Accidents happen, flat tires happen, hamstrings get pulled. I'll be there for you.
hey, at least you got him on speed dial now.
I got a
Yeah,
spot
you got
right
my
next
number.
to me on the 20th. You can just sit in the chair beside me.
I'd be happy to keep my eye on that monitor just in case.
I don't know about all this, Drake.
Gonna be there anyway, Billy.
Anyways, what's next?
But that's HCW's.
How much is the fine these days for getting involved in a match that you're not supposed to be in? Like if you were to fine a guy like Ray Leon for hitting Drake Gallows with a chair, how much would you fine him?
See, I don't really like taking money from people. I just like making them miss shows. That was a pretty rough shot.
So you
How
could
much
say
is-
what
But
it did for show.
in his defense, maybe he was trying to hit Helms.
So you're defending what he did to me?
No, I definitely am not.
In his defense,
Okay, you're right. You're right. I can't defend.
I don't even have to put words in his mouth, Bobby. He does it himself.
I just drink water. That's what I'm here for.
Stay hydrated.
You're
kid.
supposed to be my co-host, not
I
this
just tried to give this guy a job. I mean, come on now.
Golly.
But no, hopefully, I mean, we'll see what happens. But that's HCW's. What was it again? Not we or Justice for All and Justice for All was what we were saying. You
Golly.
got me all side.
MC Bobby over
MC.
here.
Yeah. Hey, I gotta have cue cards, bro. I forget too. I haven't been hitting the head with a chair, but I have been hitting the head. It's been a while. But now at this point, we're just gonna bump some chops and shoot the shit. And I've got like a. I don't follow many wrestling themes. Like it doesn't even come up in my algorithm. I've really got to actually search for it. So like that's why I think that like this is kind of cool for me, is because like now I've kind of got to go out there and get the information. Like I have my bit of wrestling knowledge that I took as a young kid. So like I don't have anything to like go off of what's going on currently. So like right now I think the big topic is like, from what I gathered from when I go to like WWE's homepage, is like wrestlers that aren't owning up to like what their potential is. So like my thought is when I read that is like, is it the wrestler that's not owning up to their potential, or is it the promoter not using them where they could be using them? Like that, like that's where like, I mean, you kind of have to go at that at both ways. Like, whose fault is it? You can't just blame it on one person. Now, I do believe, just by watching from where I'm at, is that, like, you as the wrestler, I think you have at least 60 to 70% of the control over your success. Like, whether or not you're getting out there and getting on the road and going to shows and stuff like that. That's just for me watching from the outside in. So, whether or not you guys agree with that, like, would you guys agree that you could blame that also maybe on the promoter at some point?
It's both. It's so if a promoter gives a wrestler an opportunity and they shit the bed, it'll be a little bit before they get that opportunity. Or if they go out and they blow it out of the park, then maybe they get another opportunity. And sometimes if someone shits the bed this match, they could be 10 times better the next time, because things happen at times. But it's a lot of timing.
I can tell you from personal experience that when I got my first real opportunity, in Kansas specifically, I wrestled a guy half my size and we stole the show. I had half the other boys in the locker room coming to me with either compliments or complaints. Like, why the hell did you do all that? How am I supposed to follow that? That kind of thing. And then the following show, I wrestled the kid again. And then about 3 months later, I wrestled the kid again. And the matches just kept getting better. And that opened opportunities for me and him. I think that it's more than 70%. I think that it's closer to 100. Because had I never been put on the card with that kid, we would not have seen how good he was. We also would not have seen how good of a heel I am. He got the main event push because of the matches he had with me.
Facts.
I got the main event push because I had a banger with another guy, banger with another guy, banger with another guy. And they knew that I was capable of working well with everyone. I could have long matches with anyone. And it didn't matter what town. It didn't matter what the name of the promotion was. Didn't matter if it was a male or a female. I went out there, and every time the promoter was like, okay, try this guy, I came back, and whether it was Billy or Adam or Big Dog or anybody else, they said, oh, shit, like that. I didn't think that would work. Well, we're going to try something else. And it's not that they were trying to find people less and less talented. It was just like, well, no one's made this person yet. Let's see. And I didn't just bring the good out of those people. They brought a lot of good out of me. And it also gave me an opportunity to teach and to kind of teach myself how to lead. And every time I would get something really good out of a match, I would take it to the next one and the next one and the next one.
Did you have anything else to add? Because I was going to add to that kind of with the next thing I was going to ask.
No, that's all like right on point. Like it's really about the opportunities that you knock out of the park. Like there's a lot of WWE has so much talent. HCW has so much talent. There's so much talent around the world, but when do they hit, or when they show up, do they hit, or how are they as a person?
I say there's also some people that are great wrestlers, but they're shit people.
Facts.
And those are the ones that I don't usually have back, or I'll even encourage promoters. I've even told Billy, I'm like, this guy sucks as a person. I'm sorry, but
good worker, cruddy attitude.
He can go, but I'd rather him not be here. And that's not me trying to be a politician. It's just like, all it takes is one toxic person in a locker room to spoil everything. You put one bad egg in the cake, the whole fucking cake is ruined.
And that's what leads me to my next. Yeah. And that's what leads me to my next thing is like, if that's the problem, like younger me, like watching wrestling WWF back when it was still called WWF. Now, like we're seeing all the talent, like getting moved around, going to other promotions. Like, is that because of the bad egg in the bunch? Is that because of money now? Or is that because of like the other promotion is probably better? So like you said earlier, like promoters in this area, especially Kansas, like they work together. They don't have any bad blood. Is there bad blood with wrestlers and promoters, or is it wrestlers and wrestlers, or what?
Well, you'll notice whether it be the wrestlers or the promoters that if they're bad eggs, they will get weeded out eventually. These guys who don't do a good job at promoting shows or being good communicators with their venues, or if they're just shit talent, or they're just bad people. I saw an entire promotion go under because they chose to focus more on the fun they were having in the locker room than the show itself. And whether that be alcohol or drug use, or just wanting to goof around with their friends, or not paying attention to who has actual talent and who has just been around for a long time. There's a big difference between being properly trained and getting grandfathered in because you're a backyard guy and your buddy's a promoter.
That's a fact.
A lot of those guys are gone.
So why do we see that more now that they're jumping, like not necessarily jumping ship? I guess it's more publicized, almost like a baseball player getting traded to another team, or a wrestler getting another contract.
Are you familiar with the 2 C's?
Me, no.
Cash and creative.
And that's what I was wondering. I didn't know if it was money or.
I say, like, I hate bringing up the big companies, but like, if AEW is going to offer me twice the money and half the dates, I'm probably going to do that too. So, like Triple H has said publicly, he's like, if you're not interested in the grind, I don't want you anyway. So personally, if your concern is I want to spend time at home, I want to be around my kids, yeah, that's not for you. Don't go there. Go where you can get paid as much money as possible in the shortest amount of time possible so that you can retire as soon as possible and then live off of your residual money and do fucking commercials, make movies, do stunt work, start a podcast, whatever it is that doesn't kill your body.
I think some of the biggest, like when people leave WWE to go to AEW, is like Drake said, it's a lot of times about that schedule. It's also could be a creative. There's so much talent in WWE that maybe they don't feel like they're getting an opportunity, so they'll take maybe even less money to go over here because they feel like they can get the opportunity that they're wanting. Maybe a title. There's a lot of people in this business that want, like, that belt means stuff, and it means a lot. If a promoter trusts you enough to put for that belt, and you can, like, it means a lot. So there's opportunities everywhere. Yeah, that
I
big
brought
creative.
Up the cash. Billy brought up the creative.
Right.
I might take a cut in pay if it means I can be the NWA World's Champion.
Right.
That puts me in lineage. That also might be a detriment to my career at this point. It just depends on your perspective and what the fans think. Yep. These days there's people that are just saying it's dead and bury it. There's other people who are saying that's the title that Dusty Rhodes held. That's the title that Terry Funk held. I want it because I'll be holding something in my hands that my hero had.
Right.
Well, I really hope that like every episode goes as smooth as this did because the questions are just like being able to be answered as we go. So like that's what leads me to my next one. I mean, this is great. I don't know if it's because you guys have worked together long enough or if it's because I'm asking maybe the right questions in line with each other. But like now that you said that, like, is there anything that you two guys as promotion owners and I guess educators of the game of wrestling, or I can you even call it that, or would you just call it the job of wrestling?
Sport.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I mean, if you're a member of a sports team, it's a job.
Yeah.
And it is a responsibility as well as a job.
Well, that's what's leading me to this one. Is there anything that like the big names that you don't want to say, like AEW or WWE? Is there anything that they do that either makes your guys' job difficult or easier, like creative wise, or anything even just to put on a show outside of the creativity? So like maybe coming up with gimmicks or coming up with whatever it is. Is there anything that makes your guys' job easier or harder?
Well, like to put a button on your question, I was taught not to name drop. Like I remember when I was a student, we were having a promo class and there was a guy who referred to my tag team partner at the time as a Shawn Michaels wannabe, and they were like, bro, as soon as you mention someone bigger and better than you, that just reminds them how bad and how little you are. So when you're doing shows at the AMC flea market in Midwest City in front of 30 people and you mention a big star, you bury your opponent without trying to bury your opponent. I was actually in a show with Cody Jones. His opponent cut a promo on him and accidentally called him Cody Rhodes. They shit all over that guy and they wouldn't let him finish his promo because he didn't even know who his opponent was. So it can backfire if you mention people that aren't involved with what you're doing. It makes you seem like you're a smaller operation that way. That's just what happens with me, so I try not to do it. But to answer your question, or I hope this answers it anyway. When you see the bigger companies going in different directions, like you notice lately they've been using a little bit more language. You've seen a little bit more blood. You've seen some what I would call like sexual situations lately. That doesn't necessarily affect my product because I don't have to keep up with an angle every single week. My storylines are once a month. So if I were to here's the thing. I'm not going to be bleeding and pissed July 20 because I have a month to think about it. And I have an opportunity to sit and think and plan and prepare about how I'm going to handle the situation. Because at some point in time, I have to see Aaron Helms again. I have to see Ray Leon again. You guys understand we're in gymnasiums. We don't all get our own private locker room. I will cross paths with this guy. And I will cross paths with that guy. And whether it be in the ring or in the locker room or in the restroom or in the parking lot or at the diner across the street, we're human beings. We're going to handle things like human beings. We have emotions that we can't dwell on for 30 days and just blow up. If that were the case, every single show would be fucking chaos. So, yeah, you hit me with a fucking chair. Why were you out there in the first place? If your answer is because you wanted to do the right thing would have been for you to stay in the locker room and let me handle my business. So we can discuss it. We can talk about it in the back. We can put a camera in our faces. We can talk about it in the ring. We can make sure that everybody hears it live. Or maybe I do something drastic. Maybe no words are said at all. But that's the thing. When you have a month to think about it, you have a lot of options. When you've only got 7 days and every other segment on television, they're reminding you what happened a week ago, those attention spans in the crowd are quite a bit different when they constantly have things shoved down their throats. And I don't mean that in a bad way. If they know exactly what's going on, they might know what's coming. The beautiful thing about indie wrestling, especially when it's once a month, is no one has a damn clue. And that's kind of my favorite thing about it. And another thing about indie wrestling in Kansas is, I think it was 2.5 years ago, I said I'd go where Billy Simmons goes. You can even give me the t-shirt. I'm a Billy Simmons guy. So you know I'm not going to turn up anywhere Billy's not. But you know that if Billy's there, and if his guys are there, I might be there. So it might not be a month. It might be 6 weeks. It might be the next day. But if Billy's guys are there, and if Billy's there, I might be there. So those fans know that there might be a 50% chance that they see something special.
For sure.
Now, is there anything that you've done? Like, I mean, I know that, HCW is still very young. Like, it's still got a lot of time for growth, a lot of time for
only on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, the inside, like, it just seems like it's been very well built from the inside out up.
For a while.
Yeah, we've been together for quite a while, through XWE days, into Heartland. So we've been together a while. We're a pretty close knit group.
Hey,
in and out of different stuff.
Can I ask you a question?
What's up, buddy?
What's the deal with the KWA? Can you put some light on it?
Honestly, it was a vision I had years ago to try to make Kansas wrestling all work together. And for a while it kind of worked. I've tried to get doing more stuff, but when I left XWE, they thought I was leaving the KWA also, so it caused a pretty decent riff. And then it's just kind of like Rusty tries to keep it going and stuff like that, but it's not near as prominent anymore as like when we
that's
ran
a cat
XWA.
I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
I figure he's just trying to kind of keep Salina alive, right?
Yeah, I think so. Just trying to do his thing. So.
Well, God bless him.
Yeah, and that's what I said. I see him at my shoot job every now and then too.
Hell yeah.
Still good dude. Still talk to him.
What's he doing in a dick bar?
No, I don't know. What? That went over my head for a minute. Then it hit me right in the cheek, kind of like you're used to. Oh, shit.
Hell yeah.
But no, did you have anything else to add to that? I guess that it wasn't even really a question. I guess it was more like your opinion. Like, does WWE or AEW make your job any easier or harder? And if it does or doesn't, like, what do you love about that?
You have to ride their wave also. WWE went PG, so then the crowds everywhere expected a PG show. WWE's now started to go a little more looser with that stuff, blood, language, which allows us at our level to do the same, which in turn makes the crowds expect that to come and not be so, oh my God, that's the worst thing I've ever seen, because they're watching it on TV already.
Your show is designed to be a roller coaster. You have exciting moments, you have funny moments, you have dramatic moments, you have sad moments, and then you even have, like, we had a proposal. I mean, and imagine if that would have went south. That's real human drama.
Could have took an angle that way.
Man, Cameron just boom. But if those particular things, such as like extra violence, maybe sexuality, maybe language, or like middle fingers, if they're put in the show in the proper places, they help your show. You put them in the wrong places, you scare your fans away.
Yeah.
I said it on social media. Personal issues draw money. Personal drama runs it away.
Correct.
And I can tell you right now, I had 3 people take that post personally. They sent me messages. What was that supposed to mean?
My.
If you took that from what I said, read the room, man. Fix it.
For sure.
Well, I guess now that, like, I mean, with ending with that part of it, like, it also kind of brings back to your guys' your classes that you guys run, right? I mean, me and BJ, or I call him BJ, sorry, but Billy.
You're right.
Me and him, we both had the same high school football coach. Yep. Okay.
Randy Dryland.
And like, we didn't play together, but like, I think that what I got from it, I don't know if it's the same for you, but like, the guy, he set the standard, I think, for what it means for certain things. So like, when it came to like his play design, or like being organized for practice on what he wanted to work on. So like, he set the standard not only for that, but also for the respect factor in a locker room and towards your support, or towards your the people in charge. So like, do you give, like, I don't know if you do, but do you give him any credit for also maybe for where you are for when the school is happening? And then also, like, does that play into like how you would kind of maybe direct somebody to find a teacher or a coach for wrestling? Because in sports and school, we don't get to choose our coaches. They're there. So
that there's a few things. I've been criticized at times for being too nice. But in that niceness, like, they're not there at the training. The first thing that comes out of my mouth when someone walks in to do a training with me is, I'm very respected in this business, in this area, and my name means a lot to me. If you're going to fuck that up, I don't need you. And
I say something similar.
So that goes to, like, everywhere they go, whether it's my locker room, Drake's locker room, Brian Blade's locker room, Fountain City Pro's locker room, any locker room they go to, I expect them to be that same way. I've had people call me and say, hey, I know you expect your people to shake hands. This kid missed shaking hands today.
I take that stuff personally.
Very much so.
I mean, that was the first thing I noticed, is that, like, and that's why I brought it up, is because, like, right when I'm so green that you couldn't even really call me a color, a shade of green, right? So like,
goose shit.
The reason why I brought that up is that, like, the first thing I noticed when I came to announce for you for the very first time is, like, the first thing was the camaraderie in the room, the respect factor. Whether or not they knew who I was, the first thing they did was came up, introduced themselves, and shook my hand. And that's why I asked.
I say, if you've got your hands on a keyboard, I'm going to let you have your space, but usually when you have free hand, I'll come shake it. But like, even Billy knows, I will lose my mind if I feel disrespected.
Very much so.
And, I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but if I feel like I've been disrespected, I'll say it.
Yep.
And man, it doesn't matter if it's a first day rookie or a promoter. you know, or maybe if that promoter's a first day rookie, you know, sometimes it happens. But if they haven't been around long enough to know what needs to be done, someone's got to educate them. And I take pride in the fact that Billy and I will both tell them, like, hey, man, like, if you don't do this the right way, this is what's going to happen. It will affect your business.
Yep.
It will affect the way you're talked about on social media. It'll affect the way people have discussions with you about future bookings and things. If I don't have any respect for you, I have no use for you. If I take, you know, 2 of my students to one of Billy's shows and they let me down, the next week is going to be hell for them because they know better. You know, if you come to my show, I brought a 67-year-old man to the last show, and I told him the first thing he needed to do was find Billy and ask him if there was anything he could do. He did, and he ended up ringing the bell.
Sure did.
You know, and
I met that man. Yeah.
Danny's cool as shit.
He is very cool.
That man has a pacemaker, and he's doing drills.
Goodness.
And he doesn't want to wrestle, but he just wants to be a part of it, you know?
Yeah. And that's like he asked me multiple times. And I'm like,
anything I can do?
Yep. And I said, you know what? I do have something you can do. So I don't have to worry about it. There's a TV right there. Will you ring that bell every time? And he did a great job. He paid attention.
Well, yeah, he does it. He does it during dojo.
Heck yeah.
So he's got experience.
Good.
But yeah, man, we actually have a separate kind of, I call it a parallel universe. The DG Dojo shows. He is the commissioner on those tapings.
Nice.
And he's doing a great job.
Heck yeah.
It's hilarious because it's an old man.
Right.
He has gotten so like fed up with all these 20-year-old kids shit. So like when one of them comes in and he's like, hey, what's happening? He's like, get the fuck in. Get your ass in the ring.
I'm going to have to go watch this now.
It's fun. I'll send you some links. He's so funny.
Definitely do. That's great.
Just this old man. It's like, I don't know what I got myself into.
Good stuff.
Well, it sounds like, I mean, from what I get from like what you just said, but also from what I witnessed is that people want to be there. Like the wrestlers, the people that want to work for you, like this individual that just came up, he wants to be there. He wants to be involved. And I think that is the reason that you guys do this. But like, what would you guys say, like, say that like you knew a guy like, probably 3 states away, like what types of things would you tell this guy? Like say, hey, I want to get into wrestling. What would you kind of give this guy something to look for in picking a school or an instructor? Like what are the key things that kind of draw you in?
The worst thing I would say, because it's not something that I am, is I would find someone with a big reputation. You know, mine carries 2 states. But if they're in Florida, man, you've got the 3D Academy. You go to the Dudley Boys. There's Black and Brave Academy in Iowa. Go to one of these places with someone who has like an actual reputation, you know, televised matches, world championship history. Spend the money.
Yeah. Spend the money for the training. And that's not trying to turn people away from me or him.
No. You know, what's crazy is it's not overly publicized, but I have a TNA world champion in Edmond. He has a school. He charges crazy money. Every time that someone is turned away because they can't afford it, they come to me because I'm in the next town. So if you don't want to spend $3,000 and you could handle $50 a month, you know, you might not be able to go to that school, but you can come to mine and see what you're made of.
Yep.
I offer reasonable prices because I know my position in the business, and I know that $3,000 a year is asking a lot. And there's another school in Ardmore that charges a similar price because there's a Intercontinental Champion and an AEW superstar in the locker room. That ain't me.
Right.
But I know a lot. I might not know that much, but I know a lot. So I'm not going to charge you a crazy amount of money because I don't have that experience and I don't have the right. But I have a lot of information that I can give.
What I tell people is like, you're looking for that rep, and like Drake said, like somewhere that has someone that's done some good stuff. You can get in with them, good. You come to us and do stuff. I've had 2 kids that trained with me then went on and trained with Black and Brave and the Rhodes Academy
Oh yeah.
just to get better. They started here, and every one of them went with a leg up into this new training. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it makes them
Yeah,
that
I've
much
got
better.
people that have moved from Oklahoma to Dallas. I've got people that have moved from Oklahoma to Florida, and they're like, where should I go? And I don't have a crazy reputation where I can just say, hey, give my kid a look. But I do have some friends that would be willing to do it.
For sure.
You know, there are people across the country that I've made good with, and I use that because, hey, I worked a show with that guy in the middle of nowhere, Dodge City, Kansas. We had a banger. He thought I was cool. He got my number. Now maybe he can take care of my kid. You know,
For sure.
Yeah, I was just asking that mainly because like I've said this for a while, is that I kind of intertwine wrestling with like stand-up comedy, because like if you don't get the reps in, you're never going to get to where you want to be, especially if you want to make it big or be on the big screen. So
yeah,
like
you got to do
not everybody
every
knows.
open mic you can. You got to be a doorman. You got to pay your dues and take out the trash, and every chance you can, get in the car,
Hey,
just
Jay.
drive somebody.
Do you still have your kids? They're still part of your ring crew from the day one they sign that I'm training with you. They become ring crew, backstage hands, all of that fun stuff. You still
Yeah,
do
I
all
have
that?
no ring crew.
So
I have students.
yep, that's what I feel.
They're responsible for everything.
Yep. Okay.
I haven't, and this might be a no-no, but I haven't touched my ring in 2 years unless I was unloading it at home on my own time.
Right.
And half the time I say, hey, I need 2 of you to come to my house on Friday.
But do
They'll-
you believe?
they'll come to my house and they do it?
But do you believe like that should be part of a training? That should be
Yeah.
setting up and tearing down, helping with shows and stuff. Will give you
If
that
you can't build
experience.
it,
Yeah.
You shouldn't bump in it.
I agree. All right. I figured we were on
No.
the same page there.
No, but here, and I'll tell you why. I trained in the Yale Theater in South Oklahoma City, and that is a 200-year-old building that they used to do stage plays out of. It became a rodeo barn, so the concrete floor and the lowered floor where the theater seats were, they yanked those out, they filled it with dirt, and they did like mutton busting and bronco and all
wow.
kinds of shit in there. Then they scrape all that shit out. They take a 500-pound copper projection theater thing. What the fuck you call it? It's a 120-year-old projector for
Gotcha.
films,
Yeah. Okay.
and it's heavy.
Yeah.
After that, it became a wrestling venue.
Nice.
That ring is an old school world class ring with those lead corner posts that weigh
Oof.
300 pounds apiece.
God.
It's a spiral staircase. I had
Oof.
to take that ring up and down those stairs by myself.
Oof, forget that.
I had to lay the side rails over the top of the rail and pull them up over a second floor balcony
Good Lord.
by myself.
That's nuts.
I mean, I had a winch and a chain, but I had to do it.
right.
I spent 2.5 years at 7 a.m. setting that ring up once a month.
Mm.
And then we'd have practices on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It would stay up Tuesday, Thursday. It would get torn down. I tore it down.
Damn.
I set it up.
Mm-mm-mm.
Everybody else would show up at noon.
Yep.
So if I can do that shit for 3 years, they can do it a few times.
Nah, I agree.
You know, like once you figure it out, it can be built in 45 minutes.
Right.
And there's no reason for them not to know how to do it.
For sure.
And that's not just the ring. It's the stage. It's the sound equipment. It's the trusses and the curtains and all
Yep.
that shit.
Everything.
They,
All
they
of
need
it.
to know how to do it.
I agree.
Because God forbid one day I can't be there.
Mm-hmm.
The one time I can't be there, if it doesn't go perfectly, I'm going to lose my mind. Because they should know,
I agree.
which I'll never not be there. But, I'll
on my,
cancel a
on
show
my,
before I miss
on
it.
my deathbed, maybe.
Yeah. I will
Like,
cancel a show before I'll miss it.
so
Well, I mean, now, that pretty much wraps up episode 1, but like now I kind of want to take this time to like, if you guys have anybody to shout out, like whether it be a fan or somebody on your Facebook or social media, I think that this is kind of like, we do have some submissions. We kind of give the listeners an opportunity to win 2 free tickets to your next show, which is actually this one coming up. So, what we did was we asked for like maybe an outro, kind of like a I don't know, like a,
Just a closing?
yeah, a closing like phrase or something like that. And hopefully next show we'll kind of break those down and I'll be able to read them off to you. We'll hopefully be able to choose like a winner or maybe choose one of those people who.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we extend this to one more show? So
Yeah.
instead of July, let's do August.
Okay.
Let's get a little more.
I think we've got about 5.
Let's
so.
get a little more submissions in there, and then we can go from there. But as far as everything else goes, I'm Billy Simmons. That's my good buddy Drake Gallows, and the man, the myth, the legend, Bobby Casey.
I'll take it. Hey. I guess before you
I'm
go.
the only legend around here, Billy.
I don't disagree.
I'm not going to argue.
I'll argue with him. Get in the ring.
I guess before you go, I guess you as somebody who I assume, I mean, you do follow us on Spotify. I don't know if you follow us on the YouTube part of things, but like you as a listener, like what do you hope to get from this, the Bumping Chops show? Like, do you hope to get anything out of this?
Man, I listen to a lot of wrestling podcasts. They all have different great qualities. Reader submissions is probably the best thing I see on most of them. Listen to your audience. They have questions, answer them, and, be honest.
Yeah.
Tell them the truth. They ask you, where the fuck is this guy? Why hasn't he been here in 2 years? Tell them.
Get that?
They ask you, when are we going to see another one of these matches? Tell them. Find out what they want, and then you'll get a closer relationship with your audience. That's what's up. I've been sending letters into Cornette for years.
Listen,
it's so cool.
It's that audience makes or breaks us, and we do this because we love fans and love the business and love the reactions they get. If they sit there and didn't have no reactions, it'd be a rough 3 hours.
So I guess in closing for that, leave your comments or leave your questions in the chat.
Yeah, talk to
or
us.
submit us submit it to HCW's Facebook page.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, just shoot. You can send me a message if you follow me on Instagram or anything like that. But while you're listening to this, if you're on the YouTube side of things, make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button. Like I said earlier before, leave a comment. Go follow Drake over. And you're on all social platforms, right?
Everywhere.
Under Drake Gallows, or is there any like
Drake Gallows, or it'll be Urban Legend Drake Gallows.
All right, so like that's Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all the good stuff. Same with Billy here. He's on Facebook, HCW's Facebook page. Do you monitor that?
I've got people that monitor it.
He has people.
I do. I do monitor it when I can. Then my Facebook's always active, and then I run 2 phones, so it's always on me.
God damn.
And we don't want that job.
No.
But like I said, leave a comment. I don't want to be the one asking the questions. I kind of want to kind of look for those good ones to pick out. That way I can bring them to the table.
Hell yeah.
These were just ones that I kind of had in mind. Like one of them I actually took from the internet, and that was the one about like the wrestlers and not, I guess, owning up to their potential in the ring or anything like that. So outside of that, if you have an interesting question and we choose it, then we will, plug you guys on here. So
Hell yeah.
Hey, Drake, man, it's been a great talking with you as always, buddy. I need to get you back on. There's a lot of stuff I kind of wanted to dive into about your career in itself later on, kind of down the road. So I appreciate all your time. Thank you. Tell them kids, I don't know. Tell them to keep being daddy's
DJ
girls.
Headbear said hi.
There you go.
yeah, we have a segment for that when they come on here. It's actually going to be do the drives.
Do
so
the drives.
Yeah, boy.
Alrighty. Have a good one, buddy.
All right,
Take care, man.
thanks again, Drake. Appreciate you coming on here, man.
Thank you.
We bring the heart to the heartland, where the souls collide, dreams expand, not arms are set high. We're bumping chops and running roads in the world of pro wrestling, where the weak will show. From the top road to the depths below, the warriors in the ring with nowhere to go. Blood, sweat, and tears, it's a battle of the wills. ring the bell.